Hey crafty people, welcome back to my channel, and in case you're new here, I'm Sarah, also known as Craft Nerd because I'm a nerd who loves to craft. I do paper crafting, card making, junk journaling, and mixed media art. Let's get crafting! Okay, so this idea was inspired by some of the cards Sharon made for the Tim Holtz Stampers Anonymous Halloween 2024 release, I believe. I saw the image on Instagram and it reminded me that I kind of liked what she had done, which it was, it had focal image in the center and kind of color in the center, but less color on the outsides. And I'll be honest, this is take 2 of this video because I didn't pay close enough attention to what she had done. And she did do a tutorial for the Simon Says Stamp blog, and I'll leave a link to that down below. Didn't look at that. Went through, did the project, and was like, my results are nothing like what she got. And then went back and looked and went, that's why my results are nothing like what she got. So we're going to do a redo, and I will show you what I did the first time, but let's do it the way it's supposed to be done first. So I've got some cardstock. This is Canson XL watercolor cardstock, and this is the scrapbook.com mixed media heavy stock in black. And we are going to use the Tim Holtz Distress Spritz sprays as well. So I've got those off to the side, but those are going to be after we add our texture paste. And I've got out the Ranger Distress Texture Paste Opaque and Translucent. My Opaque is getting a little dried out, I think, but I am giving the tip Tim Holtz had at the holiday hoopla for Halloween. He recommended using like the rubber bands you get with broccoli to try and seal your paste to keep them fresher longer. So I'm giving that a try. So I've also got a bunch of stencils, and as we do them, I'll tell you which stencils they are. But what we're going to do is add some texture paste to our pieces. And this is a Crafter's Workshop Houndstooth, and it is TCW205S. And yeah, I don't know what's going on outside, but it's driving my dogs crazy. And so they're like, we want to go out and bark like lunatics. I'm like, no, you're not going out to bark like lunatics. So I'm just going to kind of add some texture paste kind of centrally on this piece. And let's do some opaque. I think if I get down below like the top level layer of it, it works a little bit better. But yeah, my texture paste opaque is very, very thick these days. And you know what? I forgot to grab, which I did the first time when I filmed this video, my dish to put water in to toss my stencils into when I am done with them, because you don't want to leave your texture paste on your stencils to dry, because that will ruin your stencils because you'll clog up the apertures. Let's do a little bit more up here. Just do a few random pieces instead of like the full. And I'm gonna, once I do this one, pause to go get a dish filled with water so that I don't have a problem with my stencils. And if you want, if there are any spots where you got, since we're not doing full coverage, more than you wanted to, you could go in with your palette knife and scrape that off before it dries. All right, I will be right back. And actually, before I toss this in to the water, let's do one using the translucent ink. It should be our translucent paste, and it should be fine. That I haven't cleaned the stencil, and I'm going to try coming from this direction because I do tend to lean towards coming this way across the page. This is another one of those things that I tend to have a little bit of difficulty. One is leaving white space, which is part of why I decided I wanted to try this technique. And the other part is like not doing full coverage with a stencil. I really do have a tendency to like just cover the whole thing. And a tip I wanted to give you, and in fact, I'll tell you about it on the next one. And this is a Tim Holtz Stampers Anonymous stencil, and it's THMS075. And this one, we're gonna kind of move it around because it's smaller than my paper, and just do bits here and there. Let's use the opaque paste. And the tip I wanted to give you with regards to using pastes on stencils. Now, you don't have to use the Tim Holtz paste. I actually have Liquitex matte gels that I could pull out and do this project with as well. When you put it on, if you can't see the pattern of your stencil at all, it's on too thick. Like right here, you can't see the pattern of the stencil anymore. And I don't know how well you can see over here. You can kind of see it. So you want to thin it out anywhere that it's so thick you can't see your stencil pattern anymore. What I'll do is lift it up and pull it over here and just put my magnets on. To keep it on over here, but I won't lay it down so that it doesn't mess up what I've got going on over there, which is a little difficult right this second because I have to load my palette knife. There we go. That works. Another tip when working with pastes is that you don't want to use your heat tool to dry them, because that has a tendency to cause the paste to bubble up. So the paste does not like your heat tool. Next up, I've got, this is a memory box stencil, and it's Falling Maple, item number 88608. And this is an old stencil, so I think it's probably been discontinued. So just go through your stash of stencils and use whatever you've got for this. As you can see, I'm using a variety of different styles of stencils. This one's kind of a falling leafy kind of pattern, so maybe we just do a swath along the diagonal and a few of the other. And again, now is the time to go in, and if there's any spots you've got paste you don't want, use your palette knife to lift it off. If you've got some going off the edge, like up here, that you don't want, you can just use your finger to remove it and set it aside. So this is Simon Says Stamp stencil called Arches, and it's SSST22157. And we're gonna just kind of go down long ways on this one. And this one I'm just going to come in and kind of like fade out some of the spots on the edge instead of removing it all together. I might need to clean that stencil a little better. There's some spots that look like they might have pulled some color off the stencil, but it could just be shadows. All right, I'm gonna set that one aside. All right, we've got a few more, and then we will let everything dry and come back and do next steps. Let's see what I want to do. Let's do this one next. This is Tim Holtz Stampers Anonymous THS149. And again, it's another one that it's not as wide as my paper. I think I may do the shift and lift on this one to get it all the way across. For this, I'm just gonna kind of go like that to remove the excess off the edge. You can also afterwards like use some sandpaper to sand it off. And I'm gonna use the stencil again, and I'm gonna use the translucent, and I'm gonna do it on black this time. And I'm gonna come this way this time. Okay, I am gonna load my palette knife before I place my stencil. That'll make this a little bit easier. Okay, 3 more. This is Tim Holtz Stampers Anonymous THS089. And I think we're just gonna switch and do the opaque again. Not straight at all. Let's try and do this so it's straight. Since I've got grid lines on my glass mat. I think for this one, I'm just gonna go down the middle, and I may just do the whole thing. This is another Tim Holtz Stampers Anonymous, because you can see right there. And this one's THS048. Did that, and now I'm like, I need another diamond. So we're gonna try and get one on there without messing everything else up. That worked. And those edges are way too regular. I'm just gonna scrape that one off. And maybe that one. Kind of muss that one up a little bit. And that one. And for the last one, I've got this is from the new Christmas collection by Tim Holtz Stampers Anonymous, and it's THS187. I'm gonna put it up at as far up to the top as I can to get as much of the tree on as possible. And this one I am just gonna do the full tree. All right, so I'm gonna let all of our backgrounds dry. And then we'll come back and do the next step. So, and I'm gonna have a bit of a cleanup, obviously. So I will be back. Okay, so our backgrounds are dry. So this is what they look like. That's the clear, and that's the opaque. That one, this guy, and the Merry Christmas. Now, this is a step I missed the first time around. What she did was she did some ink blending on the piece. So let's decide on some colors for this one. Peacock feathers and some wilted violet in distress ink, because those, I have those spritzes, so we can then spritz with the same colors. Not that you have to do it that way, but I figured why not? And you know, I like blue and purple. If you've watched my opening, you can see my hair is blue and purple. So let's do a little blending in about here. And normally I'd start off the page and come on, but since I'm trying to do this as a not full coverage kind of thing and leave white space, I'm starting more in the middle. One of these days I think I need to go through and like clean my brushes, because I've got like 3 purple brushes and I don't know why I have 3 purple brushes. And I'm going to overlap the colors. I think I like that. We're going to set that one aside. Let's figure out who we're going to do next. Let's go with the falling leaves one, which obviously we are going to go in our yellows and oranges. All right, I am going to grab, I have Spice Marmalade. I do not have, the yellow in the spritz is fossilized amber, which I don't have in distress ink. I have it in distress oxide. But I want to stick, I think, with the distress inks on these. Maybe we'll do a couple in distress oxide too. So I'm going to grab mustard seed because that's close enough. Let's grab a brush for the orange. I'm trying to do more intense color towards the center and less intense going out. There's part of me that also thinks I want to pull in some like barn door and add a little red as well. So I may do that too. Let's go ahead and grab that. And I may wait to spritz this one till tomorrow because I ordered the new spritzes and they're supposed to get delivered tomorrow. I'm very excited. So again, I'm attempting to leave white space. Like that was the whole goal of using this inspiration, was to work on leaving white space on my projects, because that is something I struggle with. So I'm trying to fade out and do most of my intense color towards the center. All right, this is right side up. This one we're gonna go darker purple and go a little Villainous Potion. We're gonna go Distress Oxides on this one because I have my Villainous Potion Distress Oxide here, whereas my Distress ink seems to have gone on a bit of a walkabout somewhere. I think for this one, what I'm gonna bring in is, I think this one's gonna have less white space left because my brain is saying we need to bring in green. Twisted Citron and Peeled Paint, because I like the acidy green of the Twisted Citron, but I want to grunge it a little, so that's where we're going to come in with the peeled paint. So we're going to go and actually I'm okay with the fact that when they come together, they're making kind of a gray color. All right, next up, I'm gonna grab Uncharted Mariner. Let's grab some speckled egg and some iced spruce. Let's start with speckled egg. We're gonna use pinks, blue, and purple, I think. And we're gonna go picked raspberry, wilted violet, peacock feather. Let's start with our picked raspberry. Now you'll notice the translucent serves as a resist to our inks, so you're getting the white coming through. I'm not sure, I haven't used the opaque very much, so let's see what happens if we put a little, that's right, I need to do something that the nozzle on that bottle, and all I've had in it is water, and the opaque will resist to a certain degree as well, because I can wipe off some, if not all, of the ink. So we can bring back some of the white of the opaque. So there, it doesn't come back fully to white, but you can take some of it off so that you can see it better, which I'll probably do on the other ones as well. Now for this one, I think we're gonna go targeted inking. And I have worn lipstick. Let's pull out worn lipstick. I think that was like the first pink I got in the Distress line. So what I'm gonna do, and actually maybe I should use a smaller brush for this one. So I'm gonna do the worn lipstick on the roses. Then grab our peeled paint. And I'm okay that I'm getting a little bit of green on the flowers, because this is not necessarily, I'm not trying for precise and perfect. Now for the black one, we have to go with an oxide because an ink is not going to show up on the black because inks are translucent. And I'm going to go Twisted Citron. I think I'm gonna bring in a little hickory smoke to give like a gray fade out on the edges for this one. Now I'm gonna bring in more of the green just to kind of blend them together better. Ooh, I like that one. And we got 2 more to do, our 2 Christmas ones. Let's go Wilted Violet, Squeezed Lemonade, and Peacock Feathers. Squeezed Lemonade I'm gonna do for our star. And I think for the baubles, we're gonna do kind of a random pattern instead of a gradient. And then we've got one more, and that's the Merry Christmas. I think for this one, we're gonna go Lumberjack Plaid. You know what? This has probably got aged mahogany on it, and I didn't clean it off enough because I'm like, that's coming out grungier than anticipated, which is all right. I think I'm gonna leave that there, and I'm gonna go deal with the dog and pull out my splat box. So I'll be right back. All right, so I've got my spritzes off to the side. I've given them all a good shake because you want to make sure with your distress spritz, because they've got mica in it, that you shake them up before you use them, or you're just going to be spritzing clear water on your paper. Let's start with this one. And I am going to grab my worn lipstick. And I'm just giving it another little shake because while I got it mostly mixed, it started settling out already. The worn lipstick one seems to settle a lot. And what I'm going to do is I'm kind of targeting it a little bit to where the flowers are, but I want a little where the flowers aren't. And I'm going to wipe off my nozzle to hopefully avoid it getting clogged because my Twisted Citron's clogged. I've got to see if I can unclog it. Otherwise, I've got to get a new spray for it. All right. And I think that's the only one getting worn lipstick. So I'm going to set that one off to the side because I'm done with it. Now I'm going to grab the peeled paint in and do a little peeled paint where we have the leaves and a little bit around. And I'm going to set this one aside to dry and clean the mess off the mat. All right, I've got a couple that are getting purple and peacock feathers. So let's do all of the purples at once. So this one again, I'm going to kind of spritz towards the middle on that one. And of course, I just let a dog out and he's like, but I want to come back in. And I'm going to do a little purple on that one, a little purple on this one. This one's just going to get purple. So this one I'm done with, and as you can see, I cleaned off the ink and so that the black of the letters shows through. So we're going to set that aside. All right, let's pull back this one and add some peacock feathers. On the bottom. Do a little bit of peacock feathers on this one. And a little on the top of this. That's it for the peacock feathers. Now for this one, I'm gonna grab the spice marmalade and spritz with the spice marmalade. Which, if I was doing this with like a spray, it might make mud, but the spritz is it's in a clear liquid and mica will rise above your inks. So this is gonna be one of those things like when you tilt it, you can see the colors and it'll be cool. And yeah, we're gonna set that aside. Then for this one, we're gonna do a little bit up top in the spice marmalade, and grab some fossilized amber and do that a little off to the side there. Now I'm going to swap this out real quick because I want to add a little fossilized amber at the top of this one, and I'm going to flip it around because it'll be easier for me. And I'm just going to, actually, you know what? Let's do it this way. To go with our star, I'm going to set that one aside. I'm with the fossilized amber, and I've got a dog who wants to come in, and he's going to wait a minute because we are almost finished. Hold on, pal. Now I'm going to grab my barn door and spritz over there with the barn door. We got 2 more to go. This one's gonna get a little picked raspberry at the top, and I'm gonna flip it over because it'll just be easier for me. And our last one, and I'm gonna hold off on doing this one because I think I want to spritz green over it, and I think the green I want to use is in the new color set, the Mowed Lawn, because that'll be a brighter green. And I'm supposed to get that tomorrow, so I'm just gonna wait and do that tomorrow. All right, for this one, we're gonna spritz a little Weathered Wood and Uncharted Mariner. Hold on, Powell. I'm just gonna kind of go from high up and just do that. All right, I'm gonna let everybody dry, and then we'll be back and see our results and maybe finish one of these off with a focal image. Because I know I have an idea for what I want to do on one of them for sure, and the rest will just go into my stash to use later. Okay, so my new Distress Spritz came in, so I went ahead and did the Christmas one with some Mowed Lawn off camera, and I just love how the spritz works on these. And then I realized after I was done filming, I found another one background that I had put paste on, and so I inked it all over with spice marmalade, spritzed it with a little water and lifted it up, and then added some dots of purple, which is wilted violet, and the twisted citron. And I actually think this may be my favorite of the backgrounds, but let's get a good look at all of our backgrounds now that they are dry, and hold them up so you can see them. And so I did, I think, on a few of them, go over them with a damp cloth to remove some of the ink on top of the paste, especially with the translucent one. And then we've got this guy. I just love the sparkle of the spritz. I mean, just look at how I love, you know, you look at it flat and it's like, okay, it's kind of flat. And then you get to hit it with the light just right, and it's like, ooh, sparkly. This one, which I may come back and spritz with a little of the, what came in the new one? I think Vintage Photo, maybe? I may add a little of that to that. And then we got this one, which I spritzed with the spice marmalade, which I really love the fact that you can have like purple and green, and then surprise, there's some orange in there. And this one I wanted to finish off just so we got one like completely finished. And I stamped one of the ghosts from Boo Crazy, which is CMS 495. And I stamped him some accessories from Crazy Things, CMS 237. And I stamped my ghost on vellum, and I stamped him with white ink, and I used the Hero Arts Unicorn ink, which is my preferred white ink, and embossed with clear. And then I stamped the other ones on already inked paper and embossed. I stamped in black and embossed with clear ink. And I went back in and added some wilted violet to add to the polka dots. I had meant to do it in orange and started doing a polka dot and then remembered I forgot that I wanted to do it in orange. Now what I'm gonna do is attach my outfit to my ghost first, because that'll give me a spot where I can glue the ghost down and not have the glue show through the vellum, because you gotta be really careful about glue showing through vellum. And I'm using my Barely Arts glue because that works a little bit better with vellum. So let's give him a tie. And a bowler hat. I just think this is just amusing me, which is why I went with this little outfit for our ghost. And now I can put glue here and maybe put a dot there and there, where the little like shadowing is. Oh, and then up here. So you won't have to worry about seeing our glue shine through. Probably should do it behind his eyeballs too. Let's do a little dot there and there. Just gonna hold that down for a sec. And I'm just gonna add a little flower to his bowler hat. Okay, I just think that's too cute. Okay, so we've got our ghosty. And so we've got one background done and a bunch to go in our stash O backgrounds. And then I promised I'd show you the backgrounds I did in version 1 of this. And basically I just spritzed and didn't remember to do the inking. Didn't realize I was supposed to do some inking first. So these are just backgrounds done with spritz, which I like them and I'll use them, but like I was going for the like bit of color in the center kind of look. So we got this one with the purple and orange. This one's a little grungier. I think this is probably gonna get some more inking and playing with it. I really like how this one came out. So this was with the white paste or the opaque paste on black with the spritz. Isn't that fabulous? And then I got another one of the trees doing the pinks and the purple and the blue. And this one's got the twisted citron and the purple. And our autumn colors for this one. And another one with the leaves and the autumn colors. This guy, I just did, I think, the peeled paint on this one. And then our blues. And then another one with the blues. So let's put this on top because I like this one best. So there you go. That's our mystery craft playing with stencils. And that's all for today. So if you enjoyed this video, please do all the things that lets YouTube know you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment down below. Thanks for joining me and happy crafting.